Well, Marian Street Theatre was the first theatre I ever got a professional job. I came out of NIDA, and I remember going to meet John Crummell, beautiful John Crummell, who ran the theatre for so many years. And I was so nervous because it was my first audition, and they were just so incredibly welcoming. He was so funny. I felt so supported. I remember that, I got a few jobs there in the beginning, and it really helped me hone my craft and learn what it meant to be an actor. I have so many fond memories. Everybody that worked there was so lovely. It was a real family community. Wow, that is a very important question. I think theatre in today's society is more important than ever because there are so few spaces where we sit as a group of people together and share an experience. Like even in the movies now, people are on their mobile phones, they're distracted, everybody's very insular. And what I love about the theatre is that's where the magic happens. That's where we get to experience these incredible emotional journeys that people go on. And I remember the first time I took my daughter to the theatre. I've got a 6-year-old, and she said to me, we were sitting in the Opera House, and she said to me, she was so excited, she said, "Mummy, what actually happens when the curtain goes up?" And I was reminded as an actor and as an audience member that we never really know what's going to happen when the curtain goes up. Like, that's the magic of live theatre. Anything could happen, things could go wrong. The audience is actually a character in the show because you might get a laugh on a different night. I've had extraordinary experiences in the theatre where one woman started giving birth one night in the theatre when I was there. It's magical. And she also said things to me like, when they had a set change in this particular show, she said to me, "Mummy, how did they make the worlds change?" And I realised for her, what she was seeing on stage was this incredible world created. It wasn't just sitting in a room watching people tell a story. It was an actual visceral experience that we got to share with all these other people. And she also said to me, there was this beautiful ballerina on the stage doing this incredible performance that would have taken years and years of her life to hone her skills and all of the sacrifice. And she sort of whispered to me, she said, "Mummy, does that lady know that we're watching her?" And I just was so moved to think how incredible that relationship between a performer and an audience member is. That connection that's going to be different every night because it's never going to be the same performance, it's never going to be the same group of people, and sometimes it's a different performer if somebody's sick or so. I think theatre today for so many reasons is more important than ever because it allows us to have a shared experience. It can teach us about ourselves, it reflects ourselves back to us, and it can be fun. It's really fun. There's nothing like walking past a theatre and hearing a room full of people burst into spontaneous laughter, or to have that beautiful experience of sitting in a room in the dark and to look over to the person next to you and see that they're crying as well. That beautiful emotional capacity that we get to experience when we're watching live theatre. There's just nothing like it. I'm a big fan. Well, I think a reopened theatre can only contribute positively to the community around it because it gets people engaged in conversation. It gets people engaged with each other. It helps people talk about ideas. It creates jobs, just for something basic like that. It gives people an opportunity to express themselves, whether as performers or audience members. There's nothing more fantastic than going and seeing a show at the theatre and having a chat with your friends afterwards and thinking, "Oh, wasn't it amazing when that happened?" Or "It really made me think about that part of my life that I haven't thought about for a long time," or "How can we possibly make changes in society?" And have arguments and passionate discussions and feel things again. I think so often now we're really desensitized to what's going on in our emotional life because we're kind of hypnotized by screens. And I look at kids today, I sound like a grandma, like kids today, but and we're just not as alive as I remember being when I was a kid. I think we're sort of anesthetized we're a little bit deadened to experience. So I think having a theatre as part of a community, it engages people, it gets people talking, it reminds us what we're passionate about. So I think there's basically no bad reasons for it. It's all good. Well, as I said, Marian Street Theatre was kind of the birthplace of my career. It was my first professional job that I ever had. And since then, I've done a lot of other theatre. I've done film, television. I've been very, very lucky for, oh my God, nearly 20 years to be working consistently in the Australian television, film and theatre industry. So yeah, maybe if it wasn't for Marian Street, I wouldn't be doing that. I've had the opportunity to really explore my craft in very many different mediums, and I feel really grateful as an Australian performer to have had that experience, because it's not always the case. And yeah, lots of other stuff too, having babies, traveling, becoming a psychotherapist. Lots of stuff. I have just had a look at the plans, and I think it's incredibly exciting. What I think is exciting about it is that it includes an amphitheatre with that beautiful, green, gorgeous, incredible space right next to the theatre. It's just begging for some kind of outdoor theatre, which you guys have incorporated in the plans, which I think is really exciting. I think the plan to perhaps have a restaurant and perhaps increase the foyer space to have exhibitions is really fantastic, to have that sort of multi-platform level of creativity and engagement is fantastic. So I think extra seating is wonderful also. More bumps on seats is wonderful, and having the space downstairs for the children's theatre or whatever that becomes, I think they're extraordinary. I'm very impressed. I'd buy a ticket. Absolutely, I would be honoured. It would be amazing to perform there. As I said, it's very, very dear to me because it was the first place that I ever had a professional job when I graduated. I also, thanks to you guys, have found out that the year that I did my final performance there was the year Marian Street closed, so don't blame me. It's just a coincidence. But yeah, I met some lifelong friends there too. I've got some really dear friends that I'm still in contact with. Glenda Lynn Scott, beautiful Michelle Doak, all these wonderful actors. There's this extraordinary rich alumni of people that have performed at Marian Street Theatre, and I'm just really, really grateful to be one of them. Grant Bowler's another one. I had such fond memories of that place, and I really, really hope that it gets to open again. I think a 21st century theatre needs to re-engage the youth of our community, because theatre so much today has become, because of the prices of tickets, it's kind of an older, more affluent demographic. What I think is so exciting about so many theatres in Sydney is that it's starting to get younger audiences coming, because that is the lifeblood of the theatre, you know, like, well, it certainly was for me. I mean, theatre completely changed my life when I was a kid. Kind of saved my life. It gave me a place to go and to express myself and be creative and passionate and engaged and part of a community. So yeah, that's what I think it needs. And I think it's so exciting that Marian Street Theatre already kind of has that, because it has the youth theatre, the kids theatre, and those guys are kind of growing up to become invested in the future of Marian Street Theatre. So yeah, that's what I think it needs. I think it needs young people who are passionate and excited and committed and want the theatre to reopen. Please think really deeply and with an open heart about this decision. I know that there's a lot of financial implications and things that you have to take into account, but theatre and the arts, I think it was Winston Churchill who said something about, if we don't have the arts, then life's not really worth living. It gives such an incredibly wonderful asset to the people of this community, and there aren't many theatres in this area. So yeah, think long and hard about it, because you could be doing something really important for future generations in the North Shore and Sydney and Australia and the world.
Thanks so much for watching this video, If you liked it, please do like it.
Love it.
Leave a comment, just nice ones.
Retweet. Follow us on Twitter.
Sign up to our Instagram. Share it.
Wow us.
If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel.
Please like our Facebook page.
And none of those silly little emojis that look like, turds.
If you have any questions, please email us.
For updates, go to the website and register as a friend.
Talk to the local councillors. You can find more information on how to contact them in the video description.
By all means, spread the word. Tell your friends about this.
Keep in touch and keep up the community spirit. We really need it.
Help us. Help the community.
Say yes to opening the theatre again.
Do what you can to help us.
Think big and go for the future.
What are you going to get out of it? A theatre? Well, 3 theatre spaces. An upstairs theatre, a downstairs theatre, and an amphitheatre. And also more rehearsal spaces, and office spaces. And art gallery space. Wow! These plans are really good. Check them out online.
Please comment below if you're a friend of Marian Street Theatre. I know I am.
I am a friend of Marian Street Theatre.
I am a friend of Marian Street Theatre.
I am a friend of Marian Street Theatre.